Hey, what's up, kids? It's David with Solid X State Basement Church. Although, as you may notice, I'm not in my basement, but we're just going to let that slide, alright? So, here's the deal, man. We're going to be talking in this video about this new movie that just came out. It's been in the theaters about a week. It's called Unplanned. Unplanned. And it's about this chick named Abby Johnson, who worked for Planned Parenthood for what I guess was 8 years. She was kind of like a front-end chick. Worked the desk, did the paperwork, you know what I'm saying? You know, put the file in the file cabinet. And she worked there for 8 years. Didn't really spend any time in the back room, you know. She wasn't really a back room chick, you know what I'm saying? She was up front. She was at the desk. One day, you know, she had to go back into the back and help out. She had to go back into the back of the clinic and help out with the business of the clinic. You know, and the business of the clinic, of course, is abortion. And at that moment, she saw abortion. She saw what was happening, and it opened her eyes to the reality of what she was a part of. And not so many days later, she as the story goes, she quit her job. So I would like to talk about what I think is the truth of this. What is the truth of this film, Unplanned? And one must ask oneself, you know, how was it that this chick worked at Planned Parenthood for 8 years and yet was somehow in the dark about what her employer was doing? How did she miss that? And so this is what I would like to talk about. I think that we can miss what is happening when our attention is set upon the ideas that we hold in our mind and not the facts that may be in front of us. You know, the truth is that it is with the mind that we grapple with reality. It is with our ideas that we weigh in the balances. You know, what it is that we're dealing with, what are the conditions, what are the terms. Our ideas, in a sense, are the measuring stick with which we distinguish, with which we discern the truth of a thing. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, starting in verse 3, it says, "The eyes of those who see will not be closed, and the ears of those who hear will give attention." No doubt our eyes can be closed, and it is with our ideas, certain ideas, we can have our eyes closed to reality. Our ears can be stopped to what we are hearing. It is the ideas held in the mind that can act as a barrier. This woman, Abby Johnson, when she went into the back room, man, and she saw what was really the business at hand, her eyes were opened to the reality of the thing. Her ears paid attention. And she knew, abstractions aside, slogans aside, bumper stickers aside, politics set aside, she saw the thing for what it was. Without the language, without the baggage, without the rhetoric, filtering what she was seeing and what she was hearing. In Isaiah chapter 29 in verse 18, it says, "In that day the deaf shall hear the words of a book, and out of their gloom and darkness the eyes of the blind shall see." And truly we find ourselves in times such as this, and this is really, you know, I think here in the scripture, It's saying as though this is something that a place where God brings us. God brings us to a place in life where we see things as they are. We hear things as we are, and we know the truth of a thing. And the language that we've built up, the baggage of rhetoric, will fade in the face of reality. In Matthew chapter 6, starting in verse 22, this is Jesus talking. Jesus says, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? We need to be careful that the rhetoric, that the abstractions which we hold as primary ideas about life, we ought to be mindful that it's possible that we are too far removed from reality, that our abstractions have wandered astray, that our ideas are not consonant with reality. If our ideas are not consonant with reality, how much more so is all of our thinking at odds? At odds. And the truth of this film, the truth that Abby Johnson discovered that day in the back room is this. That in reality there are truths, and she discovered truth that day. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, it says, "You shall not murder." 4 words, reflective of reality. 4 words, abstract and yet consonant with the truth. You shall not murder. Abby Johnson discovered that day in the back room at the clinic that this is murder. And she could have no more of it. All right, man, that's the deal. That is the real deal on this vid. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Come back again. See me again. Take care. God bless.